Hey guys, welcome to Blogging with Billy. Tonight's blog will see me review the latest blockbuster, previewing at cinemas, Batman vs Superman. So here's my honest critical opinion of what is supposed to be this year's next big hit. Okay, the characters. So as we all know, the film is Batman vs Superman. It's like a big, huge clash of the titans. These two big iconic heroes come face to face. And from the trailers we've seen, the showdown was set to be pretty big. But before we get into the fight sequences, let's look at it. Who would win? Well, to me, it would be obviously Batman, because Batman is someone, he has no powers. And that's what I think makes him quite interesting here. He doesn't have any lightning bolts, he doesn't have laser eyes or web hands. He just has his own strength. And what's important about that is Batman is actually quite a... because he lost his parents at quite a young age, so a lot of the pain and anguish he felt from that, he channels into being Batman. He wants to make society a better place and uses the fear and anger he felt turns all that into strength. That's what's important about him. And he wants to make, and using the symbol of the bat, something he was greatly frightened of as a child, because he wants his enemies to be scared of him, which of course he does. Superman, he's a poncy little mummy's boy. Seriously, dude, go back to Krypton, go back to your farm. Leave the big wars to Batman. So, the characters. Throughout the movie, Ben Affleck as Batman, he does it greatly. Like, I don't know why people are giving him so much stick. He actually did a very good performance. And I like the, I'm Batman voice. It's quite good. Superman, he spends a lot of time, because he feels that he is misrepresented by society. People think he's an alien, he's a monster, he's not one of us. Go back to where you came from. But he spends half the movie trying to prove he's not a monster, he's a good person. And I think that's what's important. Because when you think about it, anyone in society who is different is branded a monster, and that's really not fair. Like, it's not until you get to know someone who's a different person, you just realise that they're just like you or me. Okay, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but you get what I mean. Society when it comes to being nice to people is fucked up. So anyway, next set of characters, Alfred. What a fucking sarcastic, dry-witted dickhead. Seriously, you're supposed to be a father figure, all you ever do is criticise him and give off. Like, so what if he fucking drinks a lot of wine? He's fucking rich. He can drink as much wine as he bloody wants. Leave the poor guy alone, let him have some fun. So I was sort of disappointed in Alfred. He was really harsh on, but really dry-witted and not very nice or fatherly, because that's what he's supposed to be to Bruce. He's supposed to be like a father figure, someone who looks out for him, and all he was just full of dry wit and sarcasm. I was like, dude, seriously, be nice. Okay, Wonder Woman. On to her. She keeps popping up through the film just as a normal person. You wait for a scene for her to come in, all you just see is her walk past looking all pretty, and you're like, look, she's on the fucking poster. When is she going to be Wonder Woman? Not till the very final battle, like near 20 minutes in, near the end. Like, seriously. She's on the poster. Why is she not Wonder Woman till the end? That's just kind of ridiculous. And then also Aquaman and the Flash. Well, not Flash, but Aquaman's on the posters from what I've seen on the posters, and he doesn't even show up. I'm like, stop marketing people who aren't even in the damn thing. Then on to characters like Lois and Lois, yeah. Lois is played by the very beautiful Amy Adams. She is a very good character, and she's not a weakling. She is strong. She's a good journalist. She fights for what she thinks the public have a right to know. She doesn't care if she hits a barrier. She'll find a way against it. So she will. And now on to the... let's jump on to what they supposedly called the movie's plot. Okay, the plot is obviously about Batman is going to fight against Superman. But they just said, oh, how do I even say this? I just felt at times the plot dragged or was just getting muddled. So let's start with the first scene where you see Batman's parents die. How many fucking movies have done that scene? It's been done. And whilst I sort of understand why it is all about Batman's character and how he channels his anger and anguish from losing his parents at a young age into being Batman, it's still like, dude, seriously, we've seen that scene a million times. Then, the dream sequence, it's all part of a dream sequence actually, where then in Batman, the young Bruce runs away from his parents' funeral and falls down a hole, as you do. And all these bats just appear and he starts flying up in the air and you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? And then there's another dream sequence later on in the film. Like, the dream sequences, I feel, they just don't really fit. When the second dream happened, I was confused when he's Batman's captured. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, how's this happening? And then he rips off Batman's mask. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? What is going on here? This has to be a dream. This cannot be part of the real plot. And so, yeah, I just felt the dream sequences were just too much. And it was only then, later on, maybe I copped on, oh wait a minute, Batman and Superman's mothers have the same name. Oh dear, that's going to be posing for awkwardness. Then, you're not exactly sure what you know that because of Luthor's manipulation, these two are going to end up fighting each other, but at times you're not really sure where the plot's going. Like, Batman spends half of it trying to get the lowdown on Superman because he, in the start of the movie, I think set during the end scenes of Man of Steel, which I haven't seen, and to be honest, I don't think I want to, because I couldn't be bothered. He hid because he caught, during his fight with the big, weird, four-legged alien thingamajigger, one of Wayne's buildings get knocked down, and Batman's like really pissed by that. He's like, right, this guy fucking hurt my employees and wrecked all my buildings. I'm gonna fucking make his life a hell. Like, seriously. That's your problem. And then Superman, of course, spends half the film trying not to be seen as the villain. Trying to make people see him for what he is. And like, it just felt like if you're gonna push towards something, you have to push it. The plot needs to be rightly structured. Like, you need to clear a path for these two to come face to face. Instead of all this mishmash muddling all, like, it made no sense. Like, I just think the plot could have worked a little bit better, could have gone a different direction, but of course, I didn't write the movie. But if there's ever a remake, I think I'll write it, and I'll make the plot make a little more sense. Every good movie needs a villain, especially a movie like Batman vs Superman. And what do we get? We get a pansy-assed, daddy issues, spoilt little rich prick, Alexander Luthor. What the actual hell? He looks like a fucking teenager. Actually, a nerdy teenager with daddy problems, just strutting around in his Converse and his crap in his silly suits. Like, seriously, if you're going to be a villain in a superhero movie, a villain in a superhero movie has to have several things. First of all, he needs to look the part. Like, for example, look at Heath Ledger as the Joker in The Dark Knight. In that purple stress suit and the makeup he was striking, you actually could look at this guy and you'd run if you saw him in real life. You would fucking run a mile if you saw him. Whereas if you saw Alexander Luthor in the street, you'd be like, oh, it's this messed up daddy's kid guy. Oh. And then the next thing is a sense of menace. This guy just bangs on and says like, oh, Senator, do you know this? Do you know that? And then he says things like, see that picture of the demons over there? It should be the other way around. The demons should be at the top. Dude, that's not scary. And then times where he's going on and on, he just screams and laughs, and he kidnaps Superman's mother. He's just a fucking little psycho. He's not an actual villain. Like, if Heath Ledger saw that film, I'll bet you he'd actually say, you're remaking that movie and I'm going to be the villain. And actually, I think several people would agree with me on that. I just feel as the villain, he was a letdown. Like, I mean, movie villains have to be scary. They have to be someone you will fear, that will send you running out of the cinemas. Like the Wicked Witch of the West, or Cruella de Vil, or the Joker, or the Green Goblin. Sorry, I'm going into superhero terms here. But like, the villain has to be scary, not some pathetic little rich bastard who doesn't feel he didn't get everything he wanted. Like, dude, seriously. For the next movie, give us a villain we can actually be scared of. Oh, and at the end, Batman should have branded him. Not just slammed it at the wall in a temper. That should have been done. The fight scenes. They were actually the best part of the movie. They were actually the scenes I really liked. Like, all these fighting scenes were, especially the showdown of Batman versus Superman, I felt that was very good. And it didn't CGI too much. Like, most of the time they were fighting each other and they were fine. And it was actually pretty good. It was Titan versus Titan. Like, these two just going at it, just really knocking themselves. And my favourite battle was the one with Batman versus Superman, because they're going up against it. And despite the fact an awful lot of Metropolis and Gotham City property probably got destroyed, which will cost a fortune in repairs, but that's how superheroes roll. Things get broken. But it was very good, and then And Batman did just what I said he would. He kicked Superman's ass with the help of some green druggy smoke, or whatever that is. I think it's probably some kind of fear-inducing toxin or something or other. So, anyway. What was I going to say again? Yeah, the fight scenes were very good, and the last fight scene, I just wasn't sure. Like, where the hell did the big monster come from? You can't just create a monster out of lots of colourful water inside a dead alien spaceship. That made no sense at all. That was ridiculous. I was confused. I was like, you used your blood to create this big clay thingy. That's your big revenge on society. Dude, seriously. The next thing is Superman dying. What was the point in that? He's gonna resurrect in the next movie. Movie heroes don't die. Well, most of the time they don't, but mainly more or less, unless you're Quicksilver in Rise in Age of Ultron, but that's another. Main thing is, you're killing off your main player here. He has to be in the next movie for whatever comes next. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you don't agree with what I've said, please don't start a fight with me. Look, I'm just saying what I didn't like about it, which was probably a good few things. And, of course, I already might have mentioned on Facebook that Superman dies, and a lot of my friends were pissed. So, I'm very sorry, but go see it anyway. So I told you the end. There's still all the rest of the movie you have to see. So, keep blowing with Billy and stay tuned for my next film review. Bye!